Hello, this is Jesse Ali from webtechninja.com and freelaunchbonus.com, and today we're going to be talking about the difference between Webinar Jam and Webinar Ignition. Heads up, here we go. Okay, so from the very start, Webinar Jam starts out easier. It's already ready. You log in and it's set up and ready to start your very first webinar. And to do so, all you do is click on New Webinar, and now we're ready to get started. So there's a very simple toolbar here that has all of the steps that you should do in order, starting from top to bottom. When you get to the bottom, your webinar is ready to go. Pretty cool. Okay, Webinar Ignition is a WordPress plugin, so you do need to know a little bit about WordPress to get started, and on top of that, you have to install it. So we're gonna go through that process really quick. I'll probably speed this up in the video. So you install the plugin right here, Webinar Ignition, install now. And I already have Webinar Express, so they might actually cause a conflict. So it did cause a conflict with Webinar Express, something to keep in mind. Okay, so here we are, heads up. I have installed a new WordPress installation with Webinar Ignition so that I don't mess with Webinar Express. They do not play well together. And so here is the deal. We have a heads up display. Let's get started and see what's going on. So we're going to go to General in Webinar Jam. And at the same time, we're going to go ahead and create a new webinar in Webinar Ignition. Okay. So type in the name of my webinar. This is Webinar Jam versus Webinar Ignition. Heads up. So that's the name. I'm also going to make that the title. Oops. Oh, it doesn't let me do the title that long. Heads up. Webinar description, a heads up comparison of Webinar Jam and Webinar Ignition. Don't even bother with Webinar Express anymore. Okay, schedule it for later. Okay, so we're going to come back over here to Webinar Jam and see what the deal is. Okay, we can choose a live webinar or evergreen webinar. Now, this is Evergreen Webinar is not a choice inside of Webinar Jam. So this is a pretty cool feature of Webinar Ignition. We can do both live and evergreen. Webinar Jam, you can kind of do evergreen, but basically what you would do is you would just make the webinar immediately right now, and then you just have the replay. Whereas the Evergreen webinar here is probably going to be more like Evergreen Business System, which is a different product by the Webinar Jam dude, Mike Filsaime. Anyways, so we're going to stay with live just so that we can do the heads up comparison. Now you notice the form on the side changes based on if it's live or not. If it's live, it's actually a bigger form, and we can actually edit the form right here. So I believe we just want to put this right here, webinar host, Jesse Ali, event date. Okay, so we're going to make this Sunday the 12th, my dad's birthday, and the event time is going to be 9 p.m. and we're going to make this, it knows I'm in Japan, but we're going to make it New York time. Okay, I think that's it. Cool. And that's the deal with that. So here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use the same Hangout. Maybe. Yeah, definitely. 12th. Select the time zone. Very similar at this point. Okay, so this is going to be 9 p.m. Can I do it here? Whoa, cool. Can I do it again? GMT -5. GMT -5. We can add another session here. We cannot do that with Webinar Jam. It's only one session. I mean, with Webinar Ignition. So Webinar Ignition, only one session. Webinar Jam, we can have multiple sessions of live webinars. Interesting. Here's where we click Create New Webinar on Ignition. And here we're going to add in the presenter, which is me, and my Gmail address. We can add a second admin here. We didn't have that option yet. I don't know if we will have that option in Webinar Ignition. Interestingly, Webinar Ignition is not responsive in the admin area. Webinar Jam is, but in the actual, I guess it's not. In the actual deal, it's funny that Webinar Ignition is responsive and Webinar Jam is not. All right, so that's the deal with that. And done with configuration, save module. So now we're back on the same page. Let's go to the next one here, which is registration. Choose your registration page. Interesting, they use the Windows logo there. So we can choose from different registration pages that have or do not have videos. This one does not have a video. This one does, and then you scroll down. That's that Starbucks commercial for Carrie. This one has a video and a cool template. It looks very much like lead pages. Very cool. You can also do a custom design with our own HTML. Pretty cool. So this is your average page, and this one has no video. I'm going to go with the lead pages design since it's new and it's cool. Load template. Okay. Okay, your webinar settings. This is the URL to the live webinar. That's already good. We can set it on the countdown, the live page, the replay page, or closed page. Stay with countdown for now. Okay. So we're going to save and update. Okay, that's all good. Design and the template. So we're in the design template here. So let's go to design template here. Okay, so we have the original Webinar Express design here, which is very simple. They've improved it a little bit in my mind here. It has this better banner area. And then they have a different one with the video on the right side here. I'm going to choose this one. It's actually quite similar, as you can see, to the Webinar Jam one I chose. Very interesting. So let's save and update. Okay, and here they want me to choose my headline, etc. So this is heads up, Webinar Jam versus Webinar Ignition. Okay, so we can add in the video URL. Let's grab that from my YouTube channel.
Welcome to this.
Okay, so we're going to put that in there. No text copy needed. Name and email, one-step registration. So we have a pop-up or one step. Let's go with one step. Done with the configuration. Okay, let's go back over to here. I think we saved that already. Registration page. Okay, now you notice that Webinar Express has way more settings, or sorry, Webinar Ignition has way more settings than Webinar Jam per each area. This allows for much more customization, but it's also a pain in the butt. The only redeeming factor of the pain in the butt is that you can clone a previous webinar, which makes it a lot better. But there's still a lot of things you need to go in and change, but a lot of things are changed automatically. So that's kind of one of the big differences here. All right. Let's go to the pay to register module. So we have the ability to charge for the webinar. Choose the fee, link to payment checkout, registration page, and this is the post payment URL. So this is where we tell PayPal to send people after they've paid. So that's very interesting. We can easily do the same thing using a membership script with Webinar Ignition. I would personally use InstaMember from Susanna Teresa, and that will allow us to actually block. See, I'm guessing that if people have this link. So here we are back in the game. All right, so we have all kinds of crazy things. We can translate for different languages, which is cool. The banner settings, we can show the banner area or hide the banner area. We can have a background image. Very cool. I'm going to hide the banner area. Background style settings. Okay, so we've got a red background right now. Meta information. Social share settings. Webinar Jam, this is good. Okay, social share URL, cool. Image URL, so we can have an image of the deal. So I should make a heads up graphic between Webinar Jam and the other. Interesting. Main headline. Cool, it automatically populated that, that's fine. Video image settings, show video, cool. YouTube embed code, so we're gonna come back over here, share, embed, grab the code, come back over here, install, or go with that, that's fine. Sales copy. I'm just going to leave it what you will learn on this webinar. I think if I don't fill it in, it will show that. It's more evergreen. I can use it when I clone the webinar opt-in headline. So for the opt-in box, just leave it. Just like with Webinar Express, we have to type in New York time here. It doesn't automatically say the time, so they have kept the settings very similar to Webinar Express. This is version 2 of Webinar Express in my mind. The guy who now owns Webinar Express says they're different systems, but they're very similar. But the same programmer made them both. Okay, he just bought it out. Webinar Express is old hat. It is not being updated. Webinar Ignition is the updated version. I do not trust the guy who is currently in charge of Webinar Express, period. If you'd like me to upgrade your Webinar Express to a Webinar Ignition account, then please do contact me at jesse@freelaunchbonus.com or jesseali@webtechninja.com. Okay, we're going to enable SendReach, and we need to grab the API key, etc. from that. I guess I need to go over that because I do promote SendReach, so let's do it. Create a new app, name it Webinar Ignition. You have the app key and the app secret. You just copy and paste those over. SendReach user ID is found right here. SendReach list ID. I would like them to be added to the Tech Tuesday webinars. List ID. Here's the button. Register for the webinar. I like it. Save and update. Okay, so that's the registration page. Let's take a look at Webinar Jam. So if that's for payment, again, it's automatically in here, but this page is not going to be protected. I don't believe. It's if someone shares this link, then someone else won't have to pay. Whereas if you use a membership script like InstaMember along with Webinar Ignition on WordPress, you will be able to actually protect it with a password. So they will get their own user registration when they pay, and you can choose what webinars they have access to for that payment. You could have a special all access pass version that would give them access to all the webinars. You could have a single purchase version that's all possible with InstaMember and Webinar Ignition combined. That is not something that's possible with Webinar Jam. Again though, Webinar Jam is so easy. Setting up InstaMember with Webinar Ignition, that's, I would charge $600 to do that. Webinar Ignition setup alone, I would charge $300. So that's kind of how that works. So anyways, that's the deal with that. We're gonna go to notifications. It's in a different place on Webinar Ignition. It's over here in notifications. We have the thank you page in a different position. So we'll just stick with the Webinar Jam route and go over to, just save this one more time, go over to notifications, and you'll see there's all these different options for Webinar Ignition. In Webinar Jam, the options pop up when you choose them. So for example, enable email reminders, yes. So now we have all these pop up. Use a built-in email system, send a welcome email. I just get rid of this because this is the gobbledygook that doesn't matter. This is, hey, here's your information about your webinar. It automatically pulls the title, the description, the presenter, the date, time, and the link to the webinar, and it puts the link in the button. And it even puts your name in here. So that's all good to go. So I'll say Webinar Ignition comparison. Sorry. Heads up. Webinar Jam versus Webinar Ignition. Okay, you can use your own SMT server like SendGrid. Cool. Send starting soon email. Same thing, get rid of this text. Good to go. Awesome. And these are really important because I use SendReach, and SendReach doesn't allow more than one email per day, except for twice a month you can do 2 emails a day. Interesting rule, but it's really helped SendReach become a non-spammy email service, which is very cool. Send this email how many hours before the webinar? Okay, good deal. Post webinar. Watch the replay automatically, sends them to the replay. You can choose if this goes to all registrants or just people who did not attend. I just go with all. And SMS reminders, we have to use a service for that. So I'm going to save that. So that's the deal. SMTP, we can use SendGrid, Postcard, Amazon SES. I'm already signed up with Amazon S3, and you probably are too, so you can already probably start using SES just by clicking the on button, which is interesting. I need to look into how easy that is to use. Your webinar is coming, and this automatically has everything pre-populated as well, which is pretty cool. I like it. And it doesn't have gobbledygook that I have to delete, which is pretty cool too. I don't know why they make you delete the stuff. It should just automatically be ready to go inside of Webinar Jam. So that's kind of a pain. So we're going to do this 24 hours after the webinar. Okay, so these are all set up. I don't know if these are going to go out if we don't have SMTP set up. Probably not. So you're probably going to need to broadcast the reminders yourself. But it does have all the same options as Webinar Jam. I just don't know if it allows us to use the built-in service like Webinar Jam does. And I'm thinking probably not. So there's one advantage, possible advantage of Webinar Jam that Webinar Ignition does not have. Okay, but you can also do the text reminder. So it is pretty much the same deal. If you have SendGrid or Amazon SES, you're probably set to go. Amazon SES, again, if you have Amazon S3, you probably already have it and don't even know it. And all you have to do is set it up here with your username, password, etc. And that's the deal. Excuse me, getting sleepy over here. So that's the notifications, good to go. Let's go ahead and save the module. Okay, save the module. And next in line is integrations. Add registrants to the, okay, so we've already integrated SendReach here. You can also obviously integrate Aweber or anything with a form code. Same thing, other. And this, if you're using SendReach, is name, and this is email. It's that simple. And then you go ahead and grab your SendReach code. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to my opt-in form wizard, show opt-in form wizard, scroll up, basic form, copy the form code, put it in there, save. We are done. Okay, so that is the deal with that. We've already done that with Ignition. Thank you page. Display a custom video. We can. I'm not going to. Display a text message. We can. I'm not going to. Save the page. Successfully saved. Thank you page in Ignition. Thank you page headline. You're all signed up. We're just going to leave that. Thank you message. I'm going to show a video and use my video. The reason I'm not doing this video in Webinar Jam is the location of things on the page are not going to be in the same place. And I do point at different areas on the page. So we're going to go to share, embed, grab that, put it inside of here, and okay, and so here's copy that we can put here. I'm just going to leave it. We can share and unlock the gift. So enable share to unlock. This can have a special free download if they share. So something that they can use along with the webinar. Is something that I like to do. I'll show how to use a free piece of software, and to get the free software, they have to share, and that gets more people to view the webinar. And at the end of the webinar, obviously, we can sell something else, either an affiliate product or personal product. Very good technique. Give away something for free. They share it to get it. More people come see your webinar. More people share it. It becomes more viral. Pretty cool. But I'm going to disable it for now. Webinar event title, use settings from the webinar. We can do custom copy if you want to. Custom copy if you want to, but we don't have to, so we're not going to. Mini countdown area. Webinar starts in, webinar in progress, good. Add to calendar, that's fine. Text reminder area. I'm going to hide the text reminder area because I'm not using it. Save and update. So most of these settings we can just clone and not have to worry about it. So now we have the countdown page here. We just did that as part of the thank you page kind of here, but it's also probably going to be on the live page here. Countdown page settings are under live page here. They're two separate settings in Webinar Jam. So anyways, Webinar Ignition, we're going from left to right, and Webinar Jam, you go from top to bottom. Very similar process, actually. Webinar Ignition looks pretty cool, cooler than most WordPress plugins, so I'm pretty impressed with that. Dylan Jones, who's the programmer and user interface designer that works with Mark Thompson inside of Digital Kickstart, is in charge of this, and he always makes stuff look beautiful. Very, very cool interface. So anyways, countdown, we're going live. It's all pretty much already set up. Webinar info copy, keep the defaults. Interestingly, now I've added translate, so we can do different languages, which is pretty cool. I don't see different languages available as much in Webinar Jam. Again, so more customization when you're in WordPress, but more of a pain in the butt to go through all these settings. Webinar background settings, background color, that's pretty cool. That's new from Webinar Express. Question answer area. We can use a third-party service like Livefire. Livefire has a delay, which can bother me. I don't really like the delay that's part of Livefire. Webinar Jam has the coolest integrated chat I've ever seen. It integrates directly with Google Hangouts or Google Plus Hangouts on air. And what I see inside my Hangout screen is exactly the same chat area that clients see, and those personal messages are also available. However, those chat messages are not necessarily as viral as what you can do with Livefire, which will automatically upload posts to Facebook, people's Facebook pages, and make other people see, oh, hey, my friend's on this webinar, and they might go check out the webinar too. However, you have a delay. It's not as seamless as the kind of chat that you get with Webinar Jam. You definitely don't want to use the standard Google chat because you can't put links in there, etc. But the Webinar Jam chat is good, and you also have the pop-ins, which are awesome. So anyways, turn up your speakers copy. It's already set. Invite your friends to the webinar. Cool. They're all enabled. Live giveaway. So this says live giveaway, but I've used this for even putting in affiliate links or buy buttons, stuff for sale. So here's your free gift, etc. This is an example gift or sales area. Okay, I found one. Okay, and then we can link it to wherever you want to, and that is set. Okay, and next we have the live page here. Enable pre-configured offers. So this is similar to what we just did. Example offer. This could be an offer. URL to the offer image. I'll just use the same one I just uploaded here. Let's open up the library in a new tab. Click edit. Actually, they're already going to give us a button. I'm being silly. But we still need to go through the process, so we're just going to have two buttons. Okay, so the offer image. Example payment option. One time $97. Can be add to cart, download now, sign up today, check it out, get started, show me more, I'm interested. But in fact, I just realized I should link to Webinar Jam from Webinar Ignition and link to Webinar Ignition from Webinar Jam so that people could go back and forth and see the difference. But anyways, that's fine. The button link, we'll just use the same link for now so that there's something there. Add to cart. Okay, we can configure a second offer, so we can add the pop-ins live during the offer's pre-configured, but when we're doing a live webinar, there's a little button to say activate pop-in, and it'll activate a little thing on everyone's screen that's watching in Webinar Jam, and it will pop up a button saying, hey, you can buy right here, and it will have the little button and the picture and whatever else. People can click, buy, or do whatever call to action you have for them, which is pretty cool that when you're live inside of the control panel for the Google Hangout, you can just click add pop-in, and the pop-in pops up for everyone. Same thing with polls, which is pretty cool. You can add in a poll live during the event, which increases, obviously, interaction, and that's a good thing, I would say. So that's the deal with that. We're going to save this module, and we are good to go with that. Next, we have the replay. Let's see what we have here inside of Webinar Ignition. So we have the replay. Cool. Registration page is done. Thank you page live. Replay. We've already done notifications. Okay, so very, very similar. Replay video. So this will be the same embed code as the actual webinar on the live page. So on the live page, there is embed settings here. So you can embed a YouTube Hangout, a YouTube video, an easy video suite, an easy video player. Anything you want can be embedded there. Pretty cool. So let's just, for a test, we'll just embed the same video. Okay, so that's for the live one, so we'll save that. The webinar replay, we'll do the same video again. We'll save that. We have the countdown expiry. So this is when the webinar becomes no longer available. We can have a timed order button. So time to appear. This is the number of seconds, so for a demo, we're going to do 60 seconds. Order URL, we'll just put this YouTube video. Now I should say, get webinar ignition now. And we'll put my bonus site, which is http://webinarignitionbonuses.com. Okay, and we're going to save that. No expiration. Display the question box, support email address. Fixed offer. Check it out button, the URL for the button, webinarjambonus.com. Delay the offer, 60 seconds, 55 seconds. I guess I could have put 1 minute. Save the module. Okay. No countdown timer, we're going to keep it evergreen. Save and update. Save module again. Miscellaneous. Insert your affiliate link for the powered by. No, because I'm selling that on the webinar. So we're not going to do that. Might as well. Whatever. My affiliate ID, which is Jesse Ali. And then we have publish webinar. We can preview everything and we can publish. Okay, so same thing here. We can preview the live, the thank you page, okay, so let's go ahead and start previewing. Preview the registration page. Or must save the page to register module first. Okay. Free. Save. Okay, let's go back to publish webinar, preview the registration page. Registration page.
Welcome to the sign up page for our live event. This event.
Okay, so it's small. Is that because this is not autoplaying, so we do need to set it to autoplay. I would say that Webinar Jam is higher quality design for this page. But part of that is just the way the styling is set up, and I bet you I could make Webinar Ignition look as good, if not better. I do like these arrows here and here. Anyway, so that is the difference between those two. Let's go back. And let's take a look at the thank you page, preview the thank you page. Okay, so my video's location is not correct for this one either.
Congratulations, you're all signed up. This is really going to be...
Okay, let's check out the responsiveness of this. So it is responsive, as you can see. Congrats, you're all signed up. It comes down here. You can add everything to the webinar. It is responsive. Let's take a look at the previous page. Everything but the header is responsive, and I'm guessing they're going to fix this, but you see this does go down to the bottom, and everything is responsive to fit, except for the video is not made responsive, and the header. Now, I'm pretty sure if I use my Easy Video Suite embed code that is responsive, that the video will become responsive. However, this header needs to be fixed, so they haven't done that. Now, Webinar Jam, not responsive. Nope. In fact, only the header kind of moves a little bit, interestingly enough. But the rest of the page, nope, not responsive. No responsive capability whatsoever. I've looked at it on my iPhone, it looks fine. It actually looks very nice. But that is the deal. So this is where we put in the affiliate link, which is fine. Same thing for Webinar Ignition. I need to put my affiliate link in there as well. So that's those pages. Let's take a look at the next page on Webinar Jam. Thank you page. Okay, looks nice versus this one. I like this one better. So I like the Webinar Ignition thank you page better than the Webinar Jam thank you page. Much better. But I like this is hard to see the date. This is easy to see the date. This has a countdown timer. This has no countdown timer. This has a live link to the webinar. This also has a live link to the webinar. This has a place for a video. So does the other one. But I definitely like the Webinar Ignition one better. Okay, so let's take a look at the countdown page. Save the countdown module. Okay. Okay, I think I'm going to like the Webinar Ignition countdown better as well. There used to be a preview countdown on the live page. We have a live dashboard. You can see live viewers on the webinar, live registrants, total orders. This was not a part of Webinar Express. I kind of like this. On-air message. Manage questions here, manage your registrants here. Start a Hangout. Oh, cool. So it automatically kicks in very much like Webinar Jam does. So Webinar Ignition is definitely taking a step up. Start a Hangout, it gets ready, it starts to go. New name of Hangout on Air, it's exactly the same as Webinar Jam, so that's pretty cool. I don't know if it automatically is going to put the embed code in for me or not. I think probably not. Probably have to grab that from the side. But I'm pretty impressed with this Webinar Ignition, except for I don't so much like the starting page, but there were 3 to choose from. Maybe I like another one better. Maybe I just need to adjust some settings. Okay, so the webinar replay page, preview the replay. Okay, so it looks fine. Okay, preview the replay page. Okay, this is nice. It's got the question and answer area. It's got a video, I don't know where that came from. So that's pretty cool. And preview the live room. This is also pretty cool. You can do the polls, attendees, pop-ins. So that's what a pop-in looks like. Pretty cool. Very cool. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Webinar Jam. Live webinar, preview the live page. Okay, it's very much similar to Webinar Ignition. Has the invite buttons. Got a question. You can put whatever embed code you put here. You'll get the chat information. Here's the buy now button that I added. So this is where you can add gifts or ask people to buy stuff. I believe there's actually now a pop-down area that you can put here with the buy now button as well. Which didn't exist, I don't think, on Webinar Express, but does on Webinar Ignition. Let's just go take a look at the live webinar page. I thought for sure I've seen it happen. I know I've done it myself with Easy Video Suite because it has the option to add buy buttons, etc. into the video, and when it pops up, it actually pulls this border actually adjusts to fit around the buy button, so that's pretty cool. I'm positive I've seen it without Easy Video Suite though as well, so I'm gonna have to, oh, what was that? There it is. There's the one on the replay. It just popped up. So it's timed. What did I pick for the time? And did let's use simple. Let's see if this is not responsive. Not responsive. Interesting. So Webinar Ignition is partially responsive. It looks like they were working on it, but they had to release it before it was ready, which tells me hopefully in an update it will be fully responsive, which would be really cool. Webinar Jam currently doesn't have any responsive settings, except for in the settings area it does have some response. Oh, this is responsive a little bit to that point. Interesting. They made the video semi-responsive, but they did not make the sidebar go down below the video, interestingly enough. So the pop-ins, polls, and the chat. So very interesting stuff there. So that's pretty much all of the settings for both of the webinars. Yeah, that's what we got. So that's the heads up, back to back, neck to neck, Webinar Jam versus Webinar Ignition. Very, very similar products. Webinar Ignition has a few more features that I might like better, but Webinar Jam has a way cooler registration page, which is the most important page because that's where you get your leads. When people sign up for the webinar, it's that, or it's either conversions for leads or conversion for sales. That's what counts. So I think the webinar content is what's going to get your sales conversions. And same thing anywhere, it's really the content, but still a nice looking Webinar Jam registration page might make it worth going for Webinar Jam. However, Webinar Ignition allows for any type of video embed, YouTube, Vimeo, Daily Motion, Easy Video Suite, Easy Video Player, whatever you need, you can make it work in Webinar Ignition. Webinar Jam does not have an Evergreen option. I bet you they'll add it in the future. I think they didn't add it because they already have Evergreen Business System, but to stay competitive, I think it's going to be necessary to allow Evergreen webinars inside of Webinar Jam as well. At the current time, Webinar Ignition has more features, more embed options, Evergreen option, non-Evergreen option. Webinar Jam does have some extra options, for example, adding multiple speakers, adding multiple event times, adding multiple different possibilities. The correct one for you is up to you. Also, licenses Webinar Jam. If you want a client to use it without you on the webinar, I mean, you can have a webinar and you can bring in a client and talk about their business with them, but it will still be your webinar. That's allowed with Webinar Jam, to the best of my knowledge. Whereas with Webinar Ignition, you can get a full developer's license, meaning that you can set up Webinar Ignition for clients on their websites. They can run the webinars all on their own without you, and it's all legal above board with the developer's license. The developer's license is an upsell for $97. I don't know how long that will last. And that's the deal. That's the difference between them. The licenses, the capabilities are different in a few areas. Webinar Jam is by far the easiest, no setup. Just type in the information you want and you're ready to go. Webinar Ignition has multiple interesting options. And it's a very nice interface inside of WordPress. It looks great with the new WordPress 3.8 sidebar. The colors match up really nicely. That's what we have. I recommend you go with, if you're not a technical person, go with Webinar Jam. Or if you should set up webinars for clients or for other people that you won't be on the webinar, I would say go with Webinar Ignition. If you're technical and you love WordPress, I would say go with Webinar Ignition. I do have a video on how to get Webinar Ignition with a cheaper price than normal. Look for that on YouTube, or I'll link to that right somewhere here. And that's the end of my heads up video. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. WebinarJamBonus.com, WebinarIgnitionBonuses.com, WebTechNinja.com, FreeLaunchBonus.com. See you there. Goodbye.